So we're gonna be showcasing the map, the center, and I have with me Evil
Nope.
Mr. Frank. Let me ask you a couple. Let me ask you a couple questions. Let's fly around the map. I guess let's fly towards the very center. I guess that's the first area. I think a lot of people want to check out.
Okay.
So tell me a little more about this map. What was the reason, or what was the idea behind making the center? Or and is that gonna be its final name, or are you planning to change the name for it?
That's probably going to be the final name. I mean, a lot of people say it's kind of a boring name, and I do admit it's a bit generic, but I wanted the actual center of the map to be like the whole map is made around that whole center area. And I knew if I named it the center, it would kind of draw people to want to go to that area.
Towards the center. That's actually pretty cool.
So even though it sounds kind of generic, once you actually get in, I think it might be a little just less generic at that point. But my inspiration for it was really a bunch of things. I mean, before I started the map, like all these spires and stuff, I was inspired by some of those Chinese mountains. They have a lot of those crazy over-the-top spires and stuff, and that's where I was initially inspired by. And I brought some of that into the center area. I knew I wanted to do something over the top since it was called the center. I didn't want people to go there and be disappointed, and I knew a lot of people would definitely be looking forward to having like a floating island, and I also love doing waterfalls, so I just wanted to mix the two things together.
I see. So I saw there was a couple custom structures like ruins, things like. Are you planning to add more? How many custom assets do you have on this map, or everything's from?
The ruins I didn't make myself. They're actually already in the files for the Ark dev kit.
Okay.
But I mean, I've done like a lot of custom shaders, and the biggest things custom-wise, I think, were just things like the waterfall and a lot of the shaders for them and some of the visual effects and stuff.
Are you planning on adding any custom assets like custom trees or like custom buildings, things like that?
Not so much custom buildings. I mean, I've barely scratched the surface with what I can do at the ruins and just what's there, so I don't really have any need to make any new assets so much, other than just things like I said, like the waterfall. I'll be doing a lot of minimal stuff like that, and but yeah, in terms of actual meshes, I probably won't be adding any new things. In terms of trees, I probably will be adding some new trees at some point.
Now this island is pretty huge. Now, if I fall down with my dinos, is
You'll
there
die.
it will instantly die? Or is there water beneath us? Is that like
It's not water. It's supposed to be like the edge of the world, so
okay?
it's technically supposed to be like you're falling into nothing, but I can't really do that in a game engine. So
Mm-hmm.
if you fly down there, I didn't want it to instantly kill the player, so it'll start hurting you once you get to a certain level. And if you keep going, it'll kill you. But at first, it'll just hurt you slowly. It's kind of like a warning to head back up.
Oh, I see. I see. That's very interesting.
So I knew people, out of curiosity, would want to fly down there and check it out, so I didn't want to just kill them right off. That'd be kind of harsh.
I've been saying. Now, is there a well? How do we get to the? I told me there was like a cave in here. How do we get in there?
Yeah, there's actually 3 entrances to the cave. 2 of them are on the bottom. Again, I wanted to put the entrances on the bottom just because you have an awesome view from underneath. And I knew out of curiosity, a lot of people would also they like to fly down underneath it and see what's under there. So I thought it'd be really cool just to put like the actual entrances on the bottom to reward people for exploring. That's what a lot of the stuff I want to do in the map is literally just rewarding people for exploring. Because I don't want it to be generic where people spend a lot of time exploring and they're just finding the same thing over and over again. I want it to be different everywhere they go.
That's good. Now, do you mention that people won't be able to build in this cave, for example?
You can build on the mushrooms.
Oh, you can actually build on the mushrooms. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't want people to like I mentioned before, I don't want people blocking the entrances to the caves
Right.
and putting like I guess you could say like a monopoly on it, just complete control of it. I don't want that. I want to try to avoid that across the level. So you can't build in most of the cave, although there are a few sections I think you should be able to build in, like this open area here. I don't see it hurt anything. You should be able to build here. I have it set to, but there's some issues in the engine that sometimes don't let you do that, even if I have the settings correct.
Oh, I see. So how many of these caves are you planning to add to the map?
There's no specific number, but I want the caves to play a huge part in the map.
Are you planning on making like similar to like the island, or are you planning to make it like this, like where it's like you can just explore, you have like big open space?
Well, I don't want anything like the island too much. I mean, I wasn't very. I'm not trying to talk bad about the map, but I wasn't really too thrilled when I saw the caves in the original game. Everything looked the same and felt they were a bit cramped. I mean, they do open up into some cool areas, but I would really want to do more caves like this, but at a much larger scale, I'd say. So there'd be like a lot of offshoot paths and things like that. That's kind of the way I'd want to push it. More visually, like that's what I'm saying.
That's pretty amazing. So, when you come, how big is this map compared to the island, for example?
It's a bit bigger right now, and I don't plan to make it a whole lot bigger unless the developers make a important biome that is, like if they add like a desert biome, I'll probably add on an additional biome to extend the size of the map, but right now it's probably going to stay about that size. It's, I'd say 20 to 40% larger than the island right
I
now.
saw there was like a snow area and a swamp area. Are you planning to add, even if they don't add like a desert area, you plan to add like, well, I guess I think that was like a volcanic area, but are you planning to add like different areas that are, like a desert or waterfall area, things like that?
I don't have too much plans to do that, to be honest. I mean, I do have like the snowy biome area, and I know there's been some complaints about it being a little bit limited, and I definitely agree with that because I was pretty limited on time for it, but it's not that I plan on doing an entirely new area of snow, but I want to expand on what's there, like add in some ice caves and add in some nice like frozen lakes and get a lot more penguins and stuff in there. So it's more expanding on what's there instead of doing entirely new areas. Now I'm not against doing like a desert biome, like I said, but it would have to actually add something to the map gameplay wise.
What do we go check the snow area, and then I don't think I've seen this swamp yet, but I know there is one. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, the center area is actually surrounded by a swamp. It's like a giant thing around it.
Now, if you guys have any questions in chat, feel free to ask any questions related to the map. So is there like I know like we are like surrounded by. I think I lost you. Oh, I see you. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
I know there's like the map is surrounded by like a giant waterfall that falls into nothingness. Will it happen the same thing here in the center? Like if players go over that waterfall, will they die, or will there be like an invisible barrier that will prevent them to do so?
No, I mean, anytime I've made a level like this, I always believe in giving the player control, even if it's allowing them to do something stupid. So I don't want to put like a barrier there. I think people see this giant cliff, so they want to try to not fall to their death, and even if they do fall to their death, they should know better to not do it again. So I try to keep that kind of stuff more open to players, and doing like a barrier there I think could be a little bit awkward. It's hard to explain why there's a barrier there, so in most cases I think it's best just to keep it open. This is the swamp area.
Benera asked if we would die if we jump into the lava at the red obelisk.
Yes, you definitely die.
You will definitely die.
It does 75 damage a second, so it kills players extremely fast, but some of the bigger dinosaurs can actually walk in it for a while before they die. So the swamp isn't anything too special. I mean, it's pretty much just like the swamps in the island map, except it's just like a... It's pretty big. It's a giant ring all the ways around the island. I mostly did it just to kind of frame the center in a kind of a pretty way with all the trees and the water and stuff. But I think in terms of all the biomes, it's probably the least creative one I've done so far.
I see. Now, are you, are you planning to add like what's it called? Any like is this gonna be like the only floating island? Or are you like planning to add more floating objects? Like, how do you,
Flooding?
yeah, like this that does like the floating island at the very center.
Oh, I'm not against adding more floating islands. I think for now I'll leave it as it is, just because there's quite a lot I need to still add, but I'm definitely not against adding the floating islands. If I did add any floating islands, it would probably be on the other side of the snowy area, like in the large open area overhanging the end of the earth area. So if
Okay.
I do add any more, it'll probably be out in that section of the map.
I see. Are you planning to add like any custom like you know how some maps have like a custom statue, things like that? You know, like a saber-tooth statue, dragon statue. Are you planning to like you know how we had the ruins on this map, which I think I saw a glimpse of it. I know we can pass through them again. Are you planning to add like any like random statues or any you know like more landmarks?
Oh yeah, I definitely will be adding more landmarks. I don't know so much about statues, but I definitely will have a lot of landmarks. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons I've tried to do some of this just over-the-top crazy stuff is because I think in a world this big, having landmarks is extremely important. Not just generic landmarks, but just really unique things that stand out that allow players to say, I'm over by the giant waterfall, I'm over near the volcanoes or something. It also helps players orient themselves in the world. Like the smoke plumes and the lava is a good example of that. No matter where you are in the map, you can always just look to the sky and see the smoke from the volcanoes and know exactly where you are.
Now, Sunbex asks, are metal and crystal at mountain peaks, or how do you have the resources distributed across the map?
I tried to do something a bit more interesting than the island did. As you can see, there's like metal right here. These are the kind of locations I try to place a lot of the metal and crystal. Is more hard to reach areas, I guess. I feel like you should have to work to some degree to get them. There's like dozens upon dozens of areas around the map like this, with just little metal deposits and crystal deposits, and most of them are kind of up in the higher peak areas or more interesting like outcroppings like this. I mean, part of that's just because I don't want this just to be an awkward dead end for players. It should have something at the end of it, and the other is just I think players should have to work up to getting it. So it's not just scattered all over the place in random places. It's more like you know exactly where you're going to find it. You just have to work for it.
I see. So how now with the intention of are you planning to make this map more like for PvP purposes, more like you know PvE players, things like that?
Yeah, I mean I'd say equally viable for both PvP and PvE. I mean, for PvP reasons, I have put a lot of effort into trying to make places everywhere in the map that people want to build bases. It's before I started the map, it was I think one of the biggest complaints I had is I did a lot of research, watching videos and stuff of the game, and there were quite a lot of videos on YouTube of like the best 5 or the best 10 places to build a map, or to build your base on the island. And you watch those videos, and a lot of those places kept listing the same places to build a base, and I wanted to avoid that because I didn't want there to be 5 to 10 places for PvP people to build their base because they're like the best strategic location. I wanted there to be like 100 or 200 amazing locations for people to build bases at. So there's a lot of focus in that regard. that would say it had a large focus entirely on PvP, but every single thing there also carries over to PvE, in my opinion.
So, so how many hours, how much time have you spent on making this map? Because it looked to me like it's almost done. There's so much in here.
I started the map on January 15th, I believe, and since then, the first 2 weeks, I think, I worked 7 days a week, 10 to 14 hours a day, and then the rest of the weeks between then and now, I was just doing 6 days a week, 10 to 14 hours a day. So I don't know what that adds up to, but
Wow,
it's
that's a long
quite
time.
a bit.
Yeah.
Uh, there might be a Masa or Mosa
Now, how
something
do
on there.
are there any underwater caves, or is there anything
Not yet.
underwater at the moment?
Not yet. That's coming in next week's update. I actually have some pretty intense plans for the oceans and stuff.
I see,
But
because
right now it's very barren.
I see, like, how you plan to like any little islands, places where people, like how in the island is that there's not that much that you can do underwater compared to like something like Valhalla, for example, things like that. Are you planning to how much investment are you gonna put like in underwater activities? Like, what are your plans for underwater activities?
It's gonna be pretty in depth, I'd say. I feel like one of my big focuses for the whole map is getting a stronger end game. That's kind of the purpose of the lava world as well, and I feel like the underwater stuff is a big part of that since you can't really go to the deep water stuff till a bit later in the game. So I want to put a larger focus on that kind of thing. And the I was checking out the island, and the oceans seem a bit empty except for a few locations, and I want to avoid doing anything like that, so I wanted to have just these vast underwater areas. I don't know if you've played Guild Wars 2. They have they have extremely over the top underwater areas, and I wanted to do something more along the lines of that.
Oh, I see. Maybe we can pass by. I don't. I think it's a glimpse of those ruins.
Yeah,
So how is that gonna work with the ruins on this map? Will people be able to build inside those ruins, around those ruins, block the ruins? Hi.
it's kind of the same thing that I was saying about the caves. I want to try to avoid having people build too much in the ruins. I think it's enabled right now, but it's a little screwy because of some of the strange collision stuff, but I think in the end it will be a safer bet to just completely have them blocked off, because they're not just there for like a visual reason. A lot of the times they are actually a player path that lets a player get from point A to point B, and allowing players to completely block that off is kind of a bad thing because it stops players from being able to get to certain locations on the map. So it's probably going to be disabled in terms of allowing people to build in them. Now, I wish there was a way that I could allow people to build in it in PvE and disable it for PvP, or just have it like where it's only enabled in single player, because I know people do want to build in it, but in PvP people can be kind of mean.
Yeah.
So I want to, I guess,
Trying to avoid one area more overpowered than the other is pretty much what you're saying.
yeah, I just want to avoid people from ruining the experience for other people. I mean, it's unfortunate that I had to go that route, but it's just
Now,
kind of the way it has to be,
now,
I think.
are you planning to add like any I guess cave drops, things like that in these ruins, or how is that going to be distributed, like the drops and things like that?
They will probably be very similar to the island. I mean, the cave systems, just like the oceans, will be extremely deep, extremely big. I mean, they're going to be pretty crazy, over the top, and the actual drops in them are pretty similar to the island, I'd say. So they're going to be like really deep into some of the larger caves, and which is pretty much like the island does. They're going to be extremely hard to reach and very deep in a cave. The cave system's also something I didn't mention before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I say that they're going to be extremely diverse, they're not just going to all look like the one at the center. I want to do some just insane over-the-top cave stuff. Like I was mentioning, I don't think I mentioned it here, but I mentioned it somewhere that I was wanting to do some stuff like Journey to the Center of the Earth, where you go like really far down underground, and then
Oh,
you find like this whole ecosystem with its own sun and like lakes and dinosaurs. It's like a whole world trapped under the ground.
that sounds pretty amazing. So these are some of the ruins that are already in the game. Now, this is pretty cool. So you're saying that we will not be able to build inside this case, for example, like, because I could easily, if I'm allowed to, I could probably put a couple metal walls around here and block this cave. Like it's my ruin now.
Yeah, I think some people are doing that right now because I haven't stopped that yet.
Uh-huh.
Except some areas are kind of screwy. Like you can't, I know you can't build on the stairs here. Those are definitely disabled, but I think for right now, these areas you can build on. It's a little screwy, but I would say probably shouldn't because it will be disabled at some point, and it might mess up your base if you build in it right now.
Now, what was the idea when you were designing this area, for example? Like, I see these ruins here. Like, is there gonna be something else, like any like tributes or like any maybe custom assets, or what was the idea of like making this ruin area specifically?
Well, the whole area, I'd say the whole map in general, I'd say is just a rough pass. So you do get some kind of screwy areas like this. Like it's, this is actually one of the worst case scenarios, I think, where I was working in this area, then I just went up here and it goes to nothing. I mean, it's a good base location, but in the end, like I said, I've only barely scratched the surface of what I plan to do with the ruins and stuff. It'll be expanded a lot, so this is just kind of the foundation for areas that I'll be expanding on tremendously later.
Now, Paul asks, what is the percentage on the map right now? Like, where are you at when it comes to the map being, I guess, 100% done?
This update puts it at 75% done. And each week going forward, we'll add another 10%.
I see. Now, how about we fly over the volcanic area? I think I was there like for like a little bit when I spawned. Then I died to a T-Rex. So how's the spawns gonna be distributed? Like, are they gonna be like more carnivores on the volcanic area, or is everything gonna be spread out evenly?
If it's big and bad and wants to kill you, it's pretty much on the lava area. I mean, the whole idea behind it, which is again what I was talking about before, I really want to do a strong end game for people, high level players that have a lot of the higher end gear. And that's really the idea behind the lava area. It's the only place you can get Oblivion right now, or Obsidian.
Obsidian,
sorry.
Okay.
It's the only place you can get Obsidian, and I feel like that's an important part, as well as it's not like every resource is scattered everywhere. Sometimes like the Obsidian is a specific place, and on the lava island, that place just happens to be a complete death hole. It's an area where the risk is high, but the reward is also high.
I see.
So it's not somewhere a low-level player is ever going to want to go or spawn, because they're going to get killed pretty quick. But it's not that hard, to be honest, though, if you have a flying dinosaur, just to go up to the top. But even then, there's usually quite a bit of T-Rexes at the top, so it's still, even if you're not wandering the ground, you can see all these Rexes and stuff. It's pretty dangerous area.
Yeah, it looks like a very intimidating, but I don't think I would want to build here. Now, how is this gonna work with? You said it's gonna be only obsidian here. Is that gonna be the?
No, it's not only Obsidian. It's just the only place you can get Obsidian in the map. Yeah.
Okay.
But there, like you can see in the pools here, just the whole
wow.
island, I'd say, is a lot higher in resources overall. So even the pools here have oil and pearls, but they're also full of like spinos and mega piranhas and stuff. So it's still dangerous, and it's like a murky brown colored water.
See, are you planning to add a cave in here, or?
Yeah, the caves are going to be pretty much everywhere. I don't know about this exact spot, but there will be caves. I want to, like, there's a few areas I'm especially excited about, and the lava area is one of them for the caves. Having like some massive lava caves I think would be pretty awesome. Now there is a small little secret cave over here that was actually an accident.
Oh, let's check it out. The boon as let me see if I can. Lack obsidian. So I think I misunderstood your answer. So it's gonna be only obsidian on this island, or or is there gonna be obsidian all over the map? I think I lost you. Let me teleport to you.
No, you can only get the obsidian on this island.
Is that gonna be like the final where you can only get obsidian here?
Probably not. I'm actually thinking of doing a small lava like island. Not anything like to this degree, but it'd be kind of a creepy. I don't want to go too much into detail on it. It's like going to be a bit kind of a creepy. It's hard to describe. It's like a real small island. There will be obsidian. It's on the complete opposite side of the island. And I think it just will help it spread out the obsidian a little bit.
Because you kind of don't want new players forced to fight higher tier players for resources. I guess that's what his question is about. So this is another. Is this like a mini cave? Oh.
Yeah, it's just a cute little cave.
Oh wow. So are you planning?
Nothing too special. It's just
It's
it was
like
actually made by accident.
Oh, I see. Is that gonna be like? Are you planning to make like more places like this, or will players be able to build like in these like tiny little caves?
I don't have any problem with allowing people to build in these kind of caves because it's not like a cave that goes real deep, and it's not like you're putting like a monopoly on it. It's just kind of there, and it's a nice place for you to build. Unless other people feel otherwise, I'm not sure, but I think it's okay allowing people to build in locations like that.
Paul asked about pearls, for example. Like, will players be able to find pearls and oil only underwater, or are there gonna be plans to make those resources available inland?
Right now they're only underwater, and a lot of that will come into the next update with the oceans after they're done, but I'll probably be adding in a lot of that stuff into some of the cave systems as well. Like the actual land caves, I mean.
So I noticed that we have the obelisk. I'm not sure how the boss arenas are gonna be on the island. Are you planning to add like something like boss arenas that the devs keep hinting at for their island? Like, are you gonna have something like that, like for like the in-game bosses?
Honestly, I'm not sure yet. I haven't seen enough of what they're doing with the boss arenas, but if it's something that people love, then I would almost 100% add it. It's just not something I've really seen very much of them post or anything yet.
Let's see.
I think those kind of things add a lot to gameplay, so there's, I'd say, a very high chance that I probably will be adding a lot of that type of stuff in it.
Let's see. So how many usually when players spawn, like, are you gonna allow players to spawn in places like this, or how the spawn's gonna be distributed, for example? It's just gonna be all over the map?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I only have one spawn in the lava area right now. I don't really want a whole bunch of spawns here, but it's really only for high level players, and you probably don't want to be spawning on the beaches here anyways. You're going to get killed, and probably pretty quick. But overall, they're pretty much spread out pretty equally. I think the only area that doesn't have them is some of like the large tropical islands over there don't have spawns, and there's no spawns on the center, just because if like a new player spawns in there, I don't want them to be kind of trapped there, if that makes sense.
I see.
So mostly only the big land areas will have the spawns. But
Now,
there's spawns in like the snow area, beaches, as well as pretty much the rest of it.
so how's this water park area here was like this giant waterfall? If you say if I fall down there, like will players be able to go around? Is that gonna be like final, or will players be able to go around the map, or you know, or is that intended the way that waterfall is, or are you planning to add like new areas around here?
Which are you referring to exactly?
Yeah, this waterfall like here, like if I will I be able to like, you know, make my Mosia go over it and will fall, or is it like a thing that will prevent me from doing so? Oh, I think you.
Oh, I haven't tried honestly, but I suspect that you probably can, and it would just fall to its death.
I see.
But it is just supposed to be literally feel like the edge of the world.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to try to add anything down there.
Okay. That's pretty amazing. So is this gonna be? Are you planning to add like more snow areas, more like volcanic areas, for example? Like I think this is the only snowy area in front of us, or are you planning to add like more than one snow biome, more than one volcanic area?
Oh, I took a kind of unique approach to the snowy area. I think it's kind of weird because there's actually two snowy mountains, and then that's separated by an area that's kind of a snowy area because it has all the snowy dinosaurs, it has the mammoths and everything. It's kind of, I guess, more like you'd expect Alaska to be like, where you have all the snowy stuff basically, just without the snow.
Okay.
Then you have the two snowy peaks.
So that's the
And past that, like I said, I do want to add like one more lava island on the other side of the map over there. And it will be maybe extended a little bit in some of the islands around it.
okay. So, so how when it comes to spawns, like is for example like gigas things like that gonna spawn like in a specific areas, or everything will be spawning like the giga for example, the quetzals would they be all over them, or it's just like in one specific area?
The Quetzals spawn pretty much globally. I mean, you even saw like one in the lava area. They pretty much spawn across the entire map, and the Gigas will probably be the same way, although they'll probably have a higher chance of spawning in the lava area.
That's pretty
And there's
cool.
some areas like I probably won't have them spawn like up in the snowy mountains or anything. But other than that, it'll pretty much be more of a global spawn for them.
That's pretty amazing. So is it, are you the only person currently working on this map at the moment, or is just do you have do you have anyone helping you out at the moment? And are you taking any help for that? That's
No,
okay.
it's just me.
Just you. Wow.
Yeah.
So is there are you planning to add any more ruins, like for example at the center, things like that, or is that the final, like is the center pretty much just done, or are there any final tweaks to certain areas?
The entire map I'd say is kind of in a rough draft actually. It's like I only had 1 week to do each biome area.
Mm-hmm.
I had like 1 week to do the center, and then all of this snowy area was 1 week. So I'd say everything is in somewhat of a rough version of it. So I definitely plan on changing pretty much everything at some point. Not that everything is just going to drastically change. It's just there's going to be a lot of polishing, and I don't know about ruins in the center, but I do want to add in a lot of ruin like caves and stuff like that. So some of that might go into the center at some point.
That's pretty amazing.
Because I think the ruins seem to be something people like a lot, and right now I'm not really fully utilizing that to its fullest potential. And that's something I definitely want to explore more of at some point. And caves is one of the areas I really want to get a lot more of the ruins into the level with. Just having like massive ruin cave systems, basically.
So how big are you planning to make these caves? Like, are you like the caves that you mentioned before, like the one we have here at the center island, is just gonna be, are they gonna be like bigger than that, smaller than that?
Definitely some bigger ones than that. I think it's good to have a good mix of both. Like I want some smaller ones. There's probably going to be a lot of smaller caves mixed into some of this
Yeah. For example,
area of the spires.
these pillars here, that on this area here, will players be able to build like on top of this pillar, for example?
Yeah, you can build bases on any of these pillars here.
I see. Very difficult, but I can see that. Oh, I see.
Yeah, some of the pillars can be pretty big.
Now, do you have any? Are you planning to like custom effects to weather? Like, are you planning to do anything with the weather? Like, I think some like maps have like thunderstorms that which are not on the island. Are you planning to add things like that?
I would like to do some thunderstorm type stuff. So far, I haven't done anything other than in the lava area. You can actually see like ash falling out of the
Yeah,
sky.
I saw the ashes. That was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Other than that, I haven't done anything. But I would absolutely love to add some lightning and thunder type stuff to the rain.
I see. When it comes to volcanic area, I think will you be able to like I don't know if it's possible to do in the customer, but like the volcano be erupting, things like that, or like rocks fall down. I don't know if that's even possible with this kind of maps.
It kinda is. It can be a little screwy though. Like I don't think I'd want anything that actually hurts people.
Right.
But it's something I thought of. It's really hard to pull off, and sometimes that kind of stuff can be really bad on performance.
Let's see.
But I mean, that's like some of the icing on the cake kind of thing. So
Right.
it's like one of those things that would be awesome to do. But I think it might be a while before I can actually find the time to do something like that.
That's pretty cool. So, when it comes to the water dinos, will you be making it so certain water dinos can come closer to the center, or like, like in these river areas, will I be able to bring my dolphin, or like my megalodon closer to the center, things like that, so I can like bring water dinos a little bit closer inland. I guess that's my question.
I don't know about megalodons, but I purposely built the whole swamp area so you can see like all these pathways through them.
Mhm.
I didn't want to be like extremely dense, so there's pathways all through these so you can actually take like a raft through the swamps. And you should be able to take a lot of the water dinosaurs through it. It might not be deep enough, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But if it is a problem or something, I could always add in a few extra water paths that actually allow for something like that.
So, do you have a rough estimate when you think you will be done with the map 100%? Like, do you have a goal? Like, okay, I'm gonna finish the map here, and this date and things like that.
In terms of 100%, I'm hoping to have it, I'd say 100% within at least 3 weeks' time.
3 weeks. Wow.
Yeah, 2 weeks should be the 95% point, and then I'll probably spend that last week just polishing things up. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to continue working on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Like after the contest is done, I plan on polishing and adding things for quite some time because there's so much work I still want to do on the map. It's like I said, it was a rough pass and stuff, so there's so much I want to go through and polish and just add and just balance things better. Just there's still like a lot of small bugs here and there that I'd really like to fix up. And also, anytime the devs add any new features or new dinos or anything like that, I definitely plan on adding all those in, even like hopefully several months going forward.
Now, how compatible is this map with like other mods that are like custom spawns, like for example, like dragons and things like that?
It should be entirely compatible with those things, because for the most part I'm using the same spawn setup as the island does. So if it works on the island, it should work on this map.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. But yeah, I so far I'm having a blast with this map. I think it's amazing. I can't wait for future patches. I'm thinking of like switching my server to this map.
Oh,
Yeah, and been having a lot
that'd
of
be
fun.
awesome.
Yeah. Other than that, what's it called? Are you wh- um why are you term goals with this map? Like after the contest, you said you're gonna be working a little bit more on the map. Are you planning on making new maps, or are you planning to working on any other mods, things like that?
No, I'll probably just exclusively stick with this one.
I see.
I mean, there's still so much more work that I'd like to do to it, and I think it could be a lot better in many areas, so
Okay.
it's
Uh,
something I would like to continue just improving on for quite a while.
I see. So how does the is this gonna be the final touch to the handheld map, the one that I'm holding, the one you hold with M, or are you planning to change that, or how's that gonna work?
The map is a little
A little bit rough.
screwy. Yeah, it's a little rough. I mean, it's literally just a top-down screenshot of the map.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then I painted in the water, so that's about all it is right now.
Oh, I see.
Um, it will look a bit better in the end. That's just like some of that stuff that comes, I'd say, after that 100% completion. That's like one of the polishing type things I'd like to do.
Oh, okay. No, it's pretty cool so far. Like it's very big. Like when you fly around it, it doesn't look this big, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna have an interesting time traveling on land with the T-Rex and things like that.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I mean, it's like I said, 20 to 40% larger than the island, and especially once I get the oceans in,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just the oceans, but also like, the whole river areas, like what's underneath us right now, will be just completely full of content. So that's gonna increase the diversity, I'd say, a lot, and the complexity of it. And even just in terms of total space, I think there's a lot more depth to what's there. It's all the pathways and all the height and stuff there is in the map.
Okay. Well, Abel Frank, it was a great honor to have you here. Thank you. Is there anything you want to tell to the viewers before we end this interview?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any feedback or anything, definitely post it on the Steam page. I'm always looking for feedback on ways to improve the map, and I think for the most part, I fix things usually within a week, so I'm always up to hearing what people think of the map.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by and telling us about the map, and I can't wait to play
Yeah,
on it.
thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Have an awesome weekend.
You too. See ya.
All right, guys. That was the interview with Mr. Evil Frank, and we've been showcasing the map, the center.